Yeah, because we're in the entertainment business.
Just happens to be basketball.
Right, we're in entertainment, so we're competing with all entertainment on Saturday and Friday and Saturday nights.
For the same price of the movies, where all we do is sit, watch, and not engage, I can go to a game, get to be around my heroes, scream, yell, run around, be a part of it. What would you choose?
Welcome to the Tampa Bay Titans podcast. I'm your host, Byron. Today we got Daryl Hepburn, Dominique Lee, and the one and only David Magley in the building. What's going on, fellas?
Chilling, yup. Good to be here.
Yes, sir.
I love it when they call me Big Pop.
There we go.
Hands in the air, because I'm a true player. And I know a woman tonight that had 4 of my babies.
There you go.
Another one, top of the dome, another one.
That's how we do.
There he is. There's Magley. There he is.
It's hard for me to come out of my shell.
David Magley is the president of the TBL, one of the founders of the organization, which has actually taken the United States by storm, up to 30-something teams now. Proud to be a part of what he's got going on here, and thanks for coming on.
Excited to be here. Had a great day spending time with you all and seeing your vision. You know, the opportunity to grow pro basketball the right way in America is so big right now. And the secret for us is how good is our local ownership group. If we have strong team market owners, and we call you team market owners, not just owners because you own the market, not the kids. And we want to make certain that you build it the right way. And looking at your vision and the kind of talent that you're surrounding yourself with, Tampa Bay could be a great area for us.
Good. Yeah, no, we're excited. We're definitely excited. And like you said, we got a great team. You can't go to war without an army, so we're excited. Let's jump into it. We got a pretty cool agenda today. So first question we got for you is going to be the future of the league. Where do you see the TBL in the next 3 to 5 years? You know,
it's been interesting the way it's grown. It's grown very organically. All of our teams, virtually 100% of TBL and BSL, the 2 leagues that we own, have been grown by people that call us. I don't make any outbound sales calls. I don't target a market and say, I think that this would be a great place. Let's put a team here. We need a team there. We're looking for this ownership person or this. As people contact us wanting to be in our league. So it's grown in these pods. What's going to happen is in the next 3 to 5 years, there's limitless talent in this country. Right. We couldn't have too many teams. You could have 200 teams and still have enough talent to have competitive basketball because there's so much really good juice. But what is that right number? Is it 32? Is it 48? Is it 64? We've always thought it was 64, but investors are looking at our league saying, well, maybe it's not 64. Maybe it's smaller. Maybe we try to get stronger ownership groups. Television is going to be a bigger play, but live streaming is going to be better.
Right.
We've got to have teams that can develop the brand online. That's what you're doing with podcasts and social media. We've got to have people that understand that we are a showcase league and that we have to have dancers and DJs and mascots and hype men and announcers and broadcasters that are all entering our league for a chance to go someplace else. That's how we get the best and the brightest. So in the next 5 years, I think what you're going to see is a very solid league that has valuations of the people that own these teams that are going to be, I believe, in excess of $4 to $5 million that they'll be buying them for.
Per team, to
buy a team.
Wow.
Because scarcity will drive that number up. So as we get fewer teams and we decide and we determine what the number is, then we can start growing. We can really start growing the valuation because there's no more teams available. The last NBA teams were sold at $3.5 billion. Mm-hmm. But now they're talking about the expansion teams are $6 billion. Because you can't buy a team. So if there's nothing available, there isn't an EBITDA business finance equation that lays down what these are worth.
Right.
They're worth what people will pay for them.
Right.
And as we create scarcity, you'll see these valuations go up. And so people will invest in an asset that's important to the community that's worth something in the long run.
Right. So we're at 32 teams now.
Yes.
So what do you think that number should be? You think 24 might be the sweet spot, or
no? I think that I still think that 64 is the number I want to go for.
64, okay.
But the investors that I've talked to, they're not all on that same page.
Yeah.
And funding drives it. If somebody comes in and says, "I'm going to give you $1 million to $10 million to impact your league,"
right.
What can I do with that?
Right.
With the proper investment, no team can ever fail.
Right.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about the model is there's so much talent that will play for a fair price point. See, what you were saying earlier, Coach, is that you can go to Europe and not play at the same level, make a little bit more money, but you're not furthering your career. So why wouldn't you stay home, play in our league, and get a chance to play at a higher level?
Right.
Well, that allows us to be fair with what we pay everybody. Not that we want to underpay them, but we recognize that this is a business first.
Right.
So as we build this out and they get what now their dreams are, G League, NBA, high-level Europe, high-level Asia, high-level Central South America, fantastic. We keep building our brand. But if the teams are profitable in season, they're worth something. Because in this world of pro sports, that doesn't happen. Hockey teams lose money. Minor pro football teams lose money. Minor baseball teams lose money.
How do they make money then to keep
Their
sustaining
asset
themselves?
grows. So OHL team, we have an owner in our BSL who bought an OHL team for $11.5 million 10 years ago. Today, you can't buy a team for less than $25 million. Wow. But they lose a couple $100,000 a year. So you do the math on that. Well, 10 years later, it's gone up $14 million. 10 years later, I've lost a couple million. Not a bad investment. At the same time, he's got a product in his community that's loved. He's shrunk the amount of money he loses every year, and someday he'll break even. That's the model of pro sports. Our model is you can break even off the rip and actually get profitable and make money. You're not retiring from the money that you make, but you don't have to lose money. Right. So your value is, I've got an asset that I impact the community with. I'm giving young men a chance to fulfill their dreams. I cannot lose money. I can make a little bit, but my asset will grow every year, just like a good building or a good home or any good business that you do.
Right.
If we do this the right way, if the league does our job in the long term, this has been a great investment for people.
So 5 to 10 years, where do you see the league as a whole, like as far as the TBL?
Well, I would say that a TBL BSL brand that we have, those two leagues.
You combine them both.
Not necessarily combine them, but it's a Euro model where we have a little higher level that's 16 to 24 teams, and maybe a little more of an entry level that's 48 to 64 teams. With relegation, if the lower teams struggle, they go down. The higher teams in one league go up. Imagine this. A guy can play in our league from November through April in BSL and from March through June in TBL. So the reality is you could play North American pro basketball and make a fair wage for 8 months.
Not have to go nowhere.
Not have to go anywhere.
Let me ask you this. Would it be possible for a franchise to play in both leagues?
I think an ownership group can be in both leagues.
Got you.
But I think their fans will want the break. So you could have a team, you could have two teams in Tampa Bay. One is TBL, they're both TBL, and eventually we say, you know what, we want to bring a Southeast version of BSL and move one of them to BSL. And they would complement each other and almost be a G League to the it's almost a JV to the varsity, a G League to the NBA type thing, where they can work together. Guys that aren't quite good enough can get developed, and it happens with us now. Good G League coaches are identifying the proper TBL and BSL teams they like and saying, "Will you take this kid? And if we need him, we'll pull him from your team.
Right.
We need him to keep getting the reps." This is what we do. We provide those opportunities. So yeah, you could have both, but I would probably say one of each.
One of each.
Yeah.
Okay. And the BSL is primarily just in Canada.
Well, the BSL is primarily more regional Northeast.
Northeast, yeah.
So there's
Northeast.
teams in Pontiac, Michigan, Toledo, Ohio, Jamestown, New York, 4 teams in Ontario, and 1 team in Newfoundland.
Okay.
And then we'll come back next year with probably 3 or 4 more new teams, and we'll grow that out to probably 18 to 24 teams eventually. And that is a longer season. They play in bigger venues. Then because of that, they can pay a little bit more money.
I definitely think it's, I feel like quality over quantity. When you talk about 32 teams versus 64, the quality of players is going to be better with 32 teams. I think it start getting a little watered down if you have 64 teams. And to your point, you talked about the talent, right? NIL is a question that's going to come up later on what you have on your list of questions. NIL is going to affect the TBL in a major way, and it's for this reason. A lot of these kids now, they ain't going to be forced to go overseas now. You know, when I got out of school, I didn't have a dime. I didn't have nothing, so I had to take $1,500 a month to get my start These kids ain't got to do that now. So if the G League not offering them a two-way or Exhibit 10, you know, they only making $2,500 a month playing in the G League. So the TBL would be a better option for some of these kids who earning in college. And I think the quality of player is about to go up over the next couple of years.
Well, I think you're right. I think just two things. When you start looking at our geographies, if I put a team in North Dakota, you know, who lives in North Dakota?
That makes sense.
At one point, the CBA had 4 teams in North Dakota.
Yeah, Sioux Falls.
The G League in South
It's
Dakota.
Still a G League team in Sioux Falls. The Miami Heat is a G League team.
There's the Badlands. So there's all these pods in North America of 4 to 6 teams that just aren't being fed. The most pro basketball players in the NBA are from the U.S. Second biggest country, Canada. There's more Canadians in the NBA. So there's no question the best talent in the world is in North America.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what you said that I like is a couple things. We're going to get guys that age out because the NBA, if you don't make it by the time you're 23, 24, 25, you're done.
Yeah.
So where do you go? Well, we've got wonderful athletes that still need a place to play. They can come play here.
Yeah.
But we were talking about Toilet Fitzpatrick earlier. I saw Toilet Fitzpatrick play in the 7th or 8th grade at Cambridge or Seminole Pres, whatever it used to be called. He was good.
Yeah.
And he ended up going to Blake or one of those other.
Went to King.
King went to the
Then
public school. King
USF.
did real well, and USF did real well. But what if he would have played pro in the 11th grade, in the 12th grade? Would he have been a better player at USF, or would he have even needed to go to USF? Because, again, my argument when they say the reason Luka, Joker, Giannis, Joel Embiid, and Steph or whoever are the top 5 players, and 4 of those aren't American, they would argue 3 of those guys were pros at 16.
Right.
Yeah.
So where I think you're going to see us is with the new NCAA rules, you can go to junior college and then do 4 years.
Yeah.
You can play in the OHL hockey, get paid, and then go to college. Logically, why can't they play here? So you can play on your high school team. We're March to June, and then go play pro.
Right.
So we start identifying that next level pro, develop them and help them go. How exciting will that be to get to see a guy go play in the NBA? And we don't just get fortunate that Lindy Waters or Kyler Kelly or Xavier Moon or some of these guys we've had go on play in the NBA.
Right. Xavier Moon, a stud.
He's tough.
Yeah, he's a stud.
He's tough. He was in our league. He came to our league for $50 a game.
Yeah,
The
I
only thing
remember
to
that.
get those kids, to get those quality kids that you're talking about, we're going to just need to figure out the money piece of this. How to pay them
Absolutely.
a little something.
But again, we have to pay them, but we have to figure out what's best for them. Yeah, a 16, 17-year-old kid, what's best for them is to live with their mom. They need to live at home. They need to go to a school, public or private. They need to go to a prom. And then they get to develop as a pro. Because when we play in Europe, we're busting that kid's butt. But he's still with his family. Yeah. See, they're not leaving their families often. They're still living with their mom and dad.
True.
And that's what we have to recognize. When my daughter went to IMG, the really good players, their parents were living on campus. Yeah. You know, Anna Kournikovas' mother was ever present. You know, you look at these great players, Yelena Yankovic's mother's always there. So they're still with their families. So we have the chance to do that because there's no one else doing it. At what point do we generate the revenue that we can support those kids? Because there's people that want to sponsor us and invest in us, and that's where the funding can come from.
So as team market owners, we might need to shift our marketing strategy a little bit now with these new rulings from the NCAA and
around the
NIL.
players.
Yeah, because right now we're kind of just targeting, guys who've gotten out of college, and guys we're basically targeting like misfits kind of.
Well, I think where most organizations struggle in this level of pro sports is they shift their eyes off of profitability. We need to get profitable. If
Correct.
we make money,
Correct.
then we can, now I can afford to find that next great young kid.
Correct.
I've got a benefactor that says, I want this to work. When I'm on the road, I've got the craziest sleeping patterns because I leave the TV on all night. And I woke up and there was a 30 for 30 on Maurice Claret, the great running back from Ohio State. Mm-hmm. And he had a benefactor that spent $1 million on him, and he never made it. But there's someone that said,
won a Heisman though.
Yeah, as a freshman, and then some stuff
won a
happened.
national championship too.
Yeah, and then at some point there's someone that says, I want to develop a kid. I want to support him. And the NBA rules are the team can then have the right to allow his rights to be bought on, so that guy can get paid, so everybody can win in it. But if they need to get invested in, we can't take and kill a franchise for an effort to support one player. But if we find a sponsor that can, we find someone that wants to invest in that person. I mean, Muhammad Ali became a world-class boxer because 5 businessmen in Louisville decided they were going to support him. He didn't have any money coming back from the Olympics. He got mad and threw his Olympic medal in the dirty Ohio River. That's how he thought about not being supported. But some local businessmen in Louisville stepped up and made it work. Wow. So we just have to find creative ways to support these kids. Yeah. But there's no question that will be the future of the game at some point.
Yeah. No, those are some of the things we talk about, just getting creative with the way we're going to get the support of the city. We in a great market in Tampa, having the Rays, having the Buccaneers, and having the Lightning. Me and Byron talked about this on Christmas morning. I called him, and, we talked about the Lightning and how our hockey team got started. You know, our hockey team started off as a semi-pro team playing out at the Florida State Fairgrounds.
That's what he said.
Yeah, for 3 years. And somebody saw it and said, oh, shit, this could work. We could really have a hockey team in Tampa, Florida. And, 30 years later, we were a 4-time Stanley Cup winner team. And our team worth $3 billion, So we in a market where I think pro basketball is something that people from the city want to see, but it's all about the brand of basketball we put out there. It gotta be on a level where we getting quality players. So
but the thing you'll see is, until you've experienced TBL and BSL, no one ever has a complaint about our level of play. That constant is solid. The game's incredible.
Yeah,
we just have so many talented young athletes that are incredible.
I was impressed.
The inconsistency is the entertainment. Do we all have dancers? Do we all have DJs? Do we all have mascots? Every dead ball is somebody on that center logo. Something's got to be going on at all time, because that's what we think a pro experience is.
Yep.
If we're not going to go and be entertained, then you're only going to draw the family and friends of the players,
right? No
matter how good they are. But you got to have a good brand. You got to trust me, the brand's going to be good basketball-wise. But the rest of the stuff, that's the variable that's going to make us an organization successful. And if we understand it, I was showing Byron pictures of one of our young ladies that just left the Potawatomi Fire to dance with the Oklahoma City Thunder. We have 2 young ladies from Kokomo and Lebanon dancing with the Colts and the Pacers. Wow. We have people with ESPN that are broadcasters that used to be with Syracuse. We have people that are producing shows in Oregon that produce our shows for Salem and Vancouver out there. I mean, so when you look, we have sales reps that were interns in our company now selling for the LA Clippers. Wow. I mean, we are a showcase league for every. We have, I think there were 56 new referees added to the G League pool this year, and somebody told me 37 of the 56 came from TBL or BSL.
Wow.
I mean, we are a showcase league for everyone.
Yeah, stepping stone to get to the next level.
We are. That's why how we carry ourselves, why the brand is so important, how our guys carry themselves online is so important. It kills me when I'm talking to a young man and you go to their social media page and the music is raw and it's disrespectful and they're dropping the N-word and it's cussing and they're
not being professional,
smoking weed and they're talking about. And you sit there and you go, who is your audience? Yeah. Who are you trying to impress?
Yeah.
My boys thinks that's fun. Well, are your boys going to pay you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay you? Put out a product that's going to pay. Whether that's the next boss that's going to hire you or you're going to do something in basketball, but they're going to go there and they're going to look, whether it's legal or not, we're going to check everybody's social media. Today, corporate America checks your social media before they hire you.
It's one of the first things they do.
Yeah.
So am I going to invest my brand in you? Or are you going to act like a fool? Yeah. Well, but my boys think that's fine. Well, I don't care what your boys think. Yeah. Now, I guess if you got 20 million hits on TikTok, that probably was a win. Right. But they're not getting that. Yeah. They're just being silly. Yeah. Start building your brand the right way.
Yeah, if you're trying to be a professional, that's what being a professional looks like. So
that's exactly right.
And we definitely trying to set that standard with this team in the city, and some of these guys gonna have to understand, as soon as we choose our squad, we set an expectation for the players and for each player and for the whole team, really, to just exactly what you're saying, carry yourself like a professional throughout the whole season. There's people watching. If you trying to advance yourself after this somewhere else, you got to be moving like a professional.
I remember when I was coaching in the NBL Canada, I used to have a board up, and the board was the 5 positions and who I thought was the best person at each position, who was the second best, who was the third best. So that's how I ranked out my 12 guys that I had. But then I said, who can play other positions? So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other positions. Then I said, who do I want to go to war with? 1, 2, and that board really didn't change much from beginning to the end of the season. And that's why we kept guys. Well, I'm better than him. Yeah, you are. But you can only play that and you're not better than the top guy.
Right.
But this other guy can play 3 positions. If you can defend 3 or 4, you're valuable. I mean, what you can only play what you can defend. So if you say I'm a 1, but you can't guard a 1, you're not a 1, right? But you're also that guy that's the first to volunteer to go to the schools. The guy that says, man, you can't put too much on me. I mean, let's be honest. These guys are working 2 hours a day if we practice every day.
Yeah.
So why can't they go to a school?
Right.
Well, man, I need to be off my legs. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You need to be out there help building my brand because this is going to help you be better.
Right.
That's a part of that expectation.
Right.
Before we even give you a contract.
This is what we do.
Yeah. That's a part of your obligation. Just like in the league, these guys got the media obligations. Even win, lose, or draw, you got to go talk to the media. Yeah. It got to be the same type of
we're gonna have that. We're gonna have all those obligations there.
Yeah. You breach your contract, then we can cut you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we're gonna have all that.
Yeah.
So All-Star Weekend, we just took you to the facility there. And me and Daryl have had these talks already, and Dom as well, about potentially, using Tampa as one of the locations for a future All-Star Weekend. And we think during that time of the year, I think it's good weather down here. Tampa's got a lot to offer. I think maybe in the next couple of years, maybe we take a look at bringing it down to Tampa as an option.
We'd love to have it in Tampa. The big thing is it's over Easter weekend. And so there has to be a lot of effort go into this. Right now, this season, it's going to be going to Frederick, Maryland. They're hyping the dunk contest as like the dunk challenge. We're going to let people from around the country send in their best dunks, and we're going to add some non-TBL players to that to come to the dunk. Okay, yeah. But they're doing it like what was the ALS challenge with the ice water? They're doing it with dunk. So you can dunk a donut and say, "Now I challenge Byron." He can dunk a Nerf ball, and then he challenges you, and so they're creating this social media buzz about it. The other big part is All-Star Weekend is when we do junior TBL events, which a junior TBL is the president and CEO. The CEO and president are 12 and 10-year-olds that are my grandsons,
that's cool.
Our grandsons, and they're 2 young African American boys that are really about getting young people to have respect and self-worth. Mm-hmm. And so the basketballs that we give out have their positive statements that they make to themselves. And it's really cool. It's a really neat concept. We give out T-shirts and backpacks and all these different things. That's cool. So it's a really fun weekend beyond just the game and everything else that we do. So Tampa would be fantastic.
And we got other options, too, with location as far as seating go, because you just talked about bringing in bleachers, but, we got the University of Tampa, which is centrally located downtown. We got
beautiful gym.
Yeah, we got Tampa Prep, where Coach Finland is, which is right next to the University of Tampa.
He's been there like 90 years. He still looks like he's 35. I don't understand. He's got the founder youth. Joe Finland is one young, sharp-looking guy that's been around longer than me. And
he's running the school, too, though. He's more than just a coach. He's more than just a coach. His name on the court.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah, but we got the UT. We got Tampa Prep, which is centrally located downtown. And then we got a relationship with the Tampa Bay Sports Commission, and then the Vinnick Sports Group. And they in charge of the Ewing Center, which is where South Florida play, and then also Amalie Arena, where our hockey team play. So, that's probably not now, but if we can do it that big, if we get to that point, we can do it that big.
We give it some time, once we become a household name,
right,
we'll be able to have some influence in that.
I got to watch my son play in that venue in the NCAA tournament.
The
Florida Center
Amalie Arena?
Oh, Amalie.
Yeah, the Amalie.
It was the Ice Palace then.
That's right.
They Drake was a 5 seed. They were a 12 or 4-11, whatever it was. And they hit a last-second shot to win the game. And then The next game,
Drake beat y'all?
No, they beat Drake.
they
Western
did.
Kentucky beat Drake, and
Okay.
then they beat San Diego, who upset UConn with
Aqua Leonard.
no.
Who's on the team?
Who was the big guy?
You said Utah?
No, UConn.
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 Okafor?
Okafor.
Oh, yeah.
Emeka Okafor.
Oh, okay.
No, the other big guy.
No,
Jaleel
Hashim to beat.
Hashim
Thabit,
Thabit.
yeah, that's right,
They
that's
had
right.
Hashim Thabit. Emeka Okafor is actually the son-in-law of our head of our referees, Ronnie Nunn. Yeah, he's a great young man. He says.
Ronnie Nunn, the head of the referees?
Yeah,
Ronnie
Ronnie
Nunn.
Nunn's
I
the
said,
head.
I know that name.
We don't play.
I know that
He
name.
knows his stuff.
Yeah.
What's
But-
he from Ronnie Nunn? He sounds familiar.
No, Ronnie
He was
Nunn
in the
was
NBA. He reffed in the NBA.
Ronnie
Oh,
Nunn
wow,
ref
wasn't it?
15
Yeah.
years, and then he
Okay.
was the head of the refs for the NBA
Yeah.
for 15
Okay.
years. And then they lost in the Sweet 16 to UCLA with Kevin Love, Russell Westbrook, and all
Yeah,
those
UCLA.
Yeah,
UCLA, yeah.
Umba, whatever the guy's name.
Yeah.
They had a lot of good players.
Mbate.
Yeah, it was a great
Yeah,
game
yeah, he like
because
that.
DJ had Courtney Lee and Jeremy Evans. So
Okay.
they only lost by like 3. It was a great game.
Yeah. Courtney Lee was good.
It was real good.
Drake, side note real quick. Drake team this year got a D2 coach.
Yes.
He came up from D2.
Brought his son.
He brought 6 D2 transfers. Drake ranked top 25 right now.
And his son's,
Yeah, major,
his
isn't
son's
it?
one of them, right?
Yeah, they made yeah, son went up.
Son's
Yeah.
killer.
What's their
Yeah.
conference?
They playing in they moved up though.
It
so
was
they
Missouri
playing-
Valley.
Drake's
right?
Iowa,
Now
right?
they moved up.
Drake's Iowa, right? I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's in Nebraska.
No, that's Iowa. It's Des
So
Moines.
you got
Oh, is it?
6
Okay.
D2 guys that move?
6 D2 guys.
So what's
Yeah.
the difference between D2 and D1 if these guys are able
Well,
to compete
remember in
on that level
basketball,
like that?
in basketball, there's no 1AA, so that's just
Yeah.
like major is like
Yeah.
it's like 1AA basically. So football they have, in
Yeah.
basketball they don't have that.
It's some high level D2s out
Yeah,
there.
so
It
it's
could
like
be-
Compete
Yeah.
with the D1.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
What
yeah.
about UT and St. Leo? They can compete a little bit or no?
Need to get
I don't
better
know about-
players.
Yeah,
No,
I
okay,
don't know
so
about
We
that.
got the infrastructure, but got to get some better
Fairmont
players.
State, was they one of those that could compete?
Definitely, Fairmont State. Joe Mazzulla was the head coach at Fairmont State 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
That's,
So,
the,
yeah.
that's the Celtics head coach.
Yeah,
I know, I know
okay.
that.
Yeah, he was the head coach for Fairmont State. Just
know
like,
that.
I think it was 4 years ago, 2019.
Okay.
Joe Mazzulla was the head coach at Fairmont State.
That's pretty good.
Think
What was
about
the
that.
All-Star game
That's
that
pretty
last
good,
year?
that's
It
pretty
was
good.
all
I
over the
think
list.
I think it's the pyramid of life. There's fewer big guys
Right.
than medium than small guys. So when you get to the level of small guys, D2 guards, D1 guards,
Yeah.
About
they're
the
all
same.
the same.
Facts.
When you
I
look at
agree.
our guards versus G League versus NBA, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Xavier Moon, they said one summer Xavier Moon was giving everybody the
was.
business and workouts out in Vegas. It
That was
just
last year.
Owning
Yeah.
them.
Year before last,
No one
too.
could guard him.
Yeah.
And he was a kid that came to our league for $50 a game.
Yeah.
Then it was rookie of the year. Then he went to the NBL Canada, dominated that. Went to another league
Yeah.
in Canada called the CEBL. Was their 2-time MVP. Then went to the G League and dominated that.
First team All G League.
And you sit there and go, how do we? Well, we got it because he was available.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are looking. We're going to find diamonds in the
Yeah.
rough that can really,
Yeah.
really play.
You've had some in your leagues, though.
Yeah, we
lot
have.
When I
of
went
just
to
the
that,
opportunity, really.
when I
It's
went to
like
that
the
South
opportunity.
Carolina game, I think it was South Carolina
Yeah.
played the Titans.
Yeah, Robert Cologne was there.
Yeah,
Eves,
Robert Cologne.
Vernon Jackson
he was
was
like
there.
he was a D2 All-American.
Yeah.
And you had Eric Eves, who played at
South Carolina State.
South Carolina
Was it?
State, averaged 18 a game there.
Yeah.
That's the kid Showtime.
Yeah, that's Showtime, right?
Showtime.
Hey,
Showtime,
that's
a good
Showtime's
question.
trying to
Showtime.
play for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he did
is.
the
Listen,
rack.
when
He
I
did the
went to
rack.
the game, I couldn't
bucket.
believe how good these kids
Yeah,
were.
no, and I saw him at a tryout at a combine.
Did you?
Showtime?
Yeah.
Recently?
No, back that's where we found him.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I went to one in Aiken, South Carolina, and he just lit it up. I'm like, man, who is this?
He's got a weird looking shot.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
scored
He can't be
1,000 points
stopped.
in just 2 years. There,
And he
I'm
played
like,
Right.
defense too.
this dude, man.
How big is he?
Like
6'4", 6'5", maybe 6'4".
Nah, he
Yeah.
never had 6'5". He
But
6'4",
6'4", yeah.
6'4", yeah.
But he moves and,
Yeah.
and he played just
Yeah.
hard.
But no,
Two.
man. He get to the basket, though. He get to the
Yeah,
rack.
he does.
He get to the rack.
Old school
How
basketball.
old is he?
He's probably like 26. No, actually, no. He's
Probably
probably older than that.
28, 29,
Yeah,
but
yeah, he's
yeah,
probably
nah,
getting up there
Closer
now.
to 30.
Yeah, he's getting up there now.
Yeah, but see, a guy like him can still find his way playing high level Asia or Europe, like you said. You
Yeah.
know, have a great season in the TBL, and then in the next, couple months after the season, be ready to go play in high level Europe or Asia. And see, I wanted to say this real quick. Having what we do on the marketing side and the media side, the players going to benefit a lot from that.
Yeah.
Just the way we're going to cover the team.
Yeah.
It's going to give you a chance to really be seen and put you out there. So guys got to recognize that as well, man. Like we got a completely different business model with the way we're going to cover the team,
Right.
guys got to understand that this might be a better opportunity
You
for
get
you
much more
versus-
exposure.
Well, and you're driving. You're coming in with new concepts, and that helps our league. When you talk about 3 to 5 years, we didn't know that Byron Johnson existed 6 months ago. Today, he's driving the direction of what we want a lot of our leagues, a lot of our teams look like. Social media presence,
Yeah.
podcasting, really good video content.
Right.
We have teams that have some of this. No one quite as good as you, the way you all focus on this. So that every little piece that comes in, we have marketing people that come in from the Flying Cows that are new, or what the tribe does in Potawatomi. They're incredible. We've got a guy in Salem, Oregon named Jason Conrad that's 7 foot. He's got tats up his neck, gauges in his ear as the team market owner, and he is loved there. I mean, he has half his fans, it seems like, have tattoos of his logo on their arms, and they just come to party. They have a party every halftime. At halftime, they have a line dance. Everybody's allowed to come out on the court and dance. They sweep the floor down, they play, and they have fun. They have pajama game where if you wear pajamas, you get a discount. And he's 7 foot walking around in onesies. But it's the level of pro basketball that this has got to be entertaining. If we do it well, it's really good. And all these different personalities bring something different to the league that makes it really special.
Yeah, because we're in the entertainment business.
Right.
Just happens to be basketball.
Right. We're in entertainment. So we're competing with all entertainment on Saturday and Friday and Saturday nights.
Right.
Right?
Because you go,
that's
listen,
what it is. Yeah.
for the same price of the movies, where all we do is sit, watch, and not engage, I can go to a game, get to be around my heroes, scream, yell, run around, be a part of it. What would you choose? I want to be entertained. I want to be engaged. So they can watch Netflix later for free.
Right.
But they can come to us and spend that disposable dollar on us because we're going to be having fun with it. Right. That's why it's got to be so entertaining.
And that, like you said just now, we are in Tampa, so you got a lot of other stuff in this area to actually contend with. So ours got to be the top of the line as far as the
You compete with sun.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah,
let's be honest. I mean, the weather's nice here. I mean, San Diego's a tough market.
Yeah.
It's beautiful all the time.
Right.
So I can go outside, just have fun.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of stuff from the Busch Gardens to Orlando to the beach to, to all the other pro sports that are here.
Right.
But I think, to his point, basketball is needed in this city. Right? Like with our platform that we have out there, we know better than anybody that there's a market for basketball here in Tampa.
And there's a lot of talent.
Yeah.
I remember when I coached high school down in Bradenton, everybody said, man, it's a football state.
Yeah,
no, that means there's a lot of athletes.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean there's not basketball.
Yeah.
That just means there's a lot of athletes.
No, basketball is coming.
And we can play.
Yeah.
Basketball is coming.
So your answer was yes to potentially host an All-Star game.
100%.
Great.
100%.
It was Albany last year, so right? It was Albany last year.
No, last year it was Medora, Indiana.
Yeah, so this is a little bit better place to have it.
It's in Frederick, Maryland. No, we'd be good with it.
Yeah,
it would be great. I mean, Medora was good, but it would be a lot of fun.
We'd make sure that the media was on point. We would just,
No, I love the idea.
Everything. We'll get the sports commission involved.
Yeah.
It's just, we're going to pour all our resources into it.
Yeah.
Well, and we do things like we pay all the players one pay to come, but the winning team gets double.
So it's competitive.
So it's
Super
designed to say,
incentivized,
and to a player, these guys, an extra $500 or $1,000 means something.
Yeah.
Right.
The dunk contest means something. The
3-point contest too.
They get 3-point. We might do a 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 on the skills day on the Friday night. We might do something different to just create something fun. Because the skills. Listen, I went to the NBA All-Star Weekend last year in Indianapolis. 3-point shooting contest was good because the no-scoot shot against Steph.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was fun.
The dunk contest was pretty good. I liked the white kid that did the crazy dunks. And
Who was McClung?
Matt McClung. He's great.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years before, when they had the young kid from Houston that missed all of his dunks.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man, y'all, this is silly. I don't even want to watch this.
You're watching for 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
You made one dunk.
But then I watched the game, and the game was, I had to leave at halftime.
Yeah.
When Luka and Joker ran down the court, patting the ball back and forth,
Yeah.
man, this
Playing volleyball down the whole
man,
court,
I got kids at home.
They just changed the rules, though. They're trying to change.
I'm hoping that
Yeah,
works.
they just
The
changed.
players are fighting it. They don't
What
want
they
to
change
do
the
it.
rule to?
I forget the exact rule, but I know it's supposed to make the game more competitive early on. Because right now the game get competitive in the
Well,
fourth quarter.
they're changing the format totally.
Oh,
They're making it the winning team. So the rookie sophomore game is going to be done in a tournament format with 8-man teams against the G League All-Stars.
Oh, that's good.
And then the NBA All-Stars, the 24 NBA All-Stars will be split into 3 teams. And the winning group from the day before will play in a tournament against those 3 individual 8-man teams. And they'll play games to 40. And they'll do elam ending. I think it's a brilliant
That sounds
idea.
much better than
Switch
how they
it
have
up.
it. Yeah, I like
I
that.
think
They give something different.
But the players don't want to because they want to just go screw around and party.
yeah.
You're
And I
right.
think that's a mistake because you're hurting your own brand. I understand you don't want another day to work like you got to work, but have fun. If you don't, then politely step down, let the next man up. Make it
Guys-
something that they want to do because
Right.
I'd rather watch the secondary guys going as hard as they can.
Yeah, and the last thing the NBA needs right now is their viewership
Jumping
going down.
more.
Yeah.
They're
Guys
struggling
getting
with
$80
that
million
already as it is.
Yeah.
We touched on this a little bit already, kind of right, with what we were just talking about. But the impact of the NIL, how do you think the NIL is going to affect the TBL in the long run?
I think as we were talking about earlier, the NIL is going to force everybody to adjust. I think that for college basketball to survive as we know it, they've got to figure out a way to stop the transfer portal from being so easily accessible and guys
Yeah.
can go from team to team to team.
It's our free agency out here right now.
It's just, but that doesn't mean the NIL doesn't change. It just might mean NIL deals are 4-year contracts, and if you transfer, you can't get an NIL deal for a year or something like that.
Oh.
So that they treat these young men like pros that they are. I mean, maybe that's the next solution.
That's a good
I
one.
kind of
there. I
like
don't
the
know.
concept of, and it's just me. I said there's pros and cons with it. It's definitely some cons. But to me, like if I had a kid, like, you know, your son up and coming, you know what I mean? I like the fact that you can go to school now and you can play your way into a better situation if you have a great year. And you can go
Right.
make more money every year while you're in college. And then it don't matter if you go pro or not. You know, you done made $1 million or $2 million while you was in college. You get out of school and you got assets. You know, you own a house, you own a car.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I like the fact that, you know, you control your own destiny. Because if you go play well, you can go somewhere next year and then make more money. So I do think you're right, though. It need to be regulated to where it's a little more loyalty. You know what I mean? Instead of just, I'm just about to leave you and leave you high and dry.
Right.
You know, I think it got to be some type of security in there for both sides, for the players and for the coaches and for the schools.
It's like you say, we mentioned Maurice Claret earlier.
Yeah.
How much money did Ohio State win when he was winning the Heisman and they were getting NCAA champions?
A lot.
And he didn't get anything for that.
Right.
And so there's absolutely, the players deserve to get paid.
Right.
There's no
Well, see-
question about that. But we have to have some form of consistency.
Right.
The win to us, though, is that we're going to create a need for another development piece. They're trying to make it to JUCO, a prep school. But let's be honest, school is almost a misnomer.
Yeah.
COVID taught us we don't have to be in classrooms anymore to get degrees.
Right.
So the reality is that why can't we do correspondence and just be pros like they are in Europe? And that can be the option that NIL will drive us to.
You're right.
And if we can make more money doing that, then that's a win for us as well, a win for everybody. The beautiful thing about our league and the vision that my wife brings to it is, you know, when COVID hit, that was devastating. We shut down 3 days before Rudy Gobert touched all the microphones in Utah and shut down the NBA.
I remember that.
And you thought, what are we going to do? You know, necessity is the mother of invention. So we need to have more teams. That's the only way we survive this. Because
At that time, you had 12 teams.
we had 12 teams, and if we were to survive, everybody pays me on time. They pay me a payment plan.
Okay.
Well, how do I go? Hey, Byron, I need my money. It's like Stewie Griffin when he wants his money from Brian. I want my money. I want my money. I want my money. And he's like, man, leave me alone. At the end of the day, I couldn't get any more money from my teams because they didn't know if they would ever be allowed back in the gym. but I could sell new teams. If I could sell new teams, I could bring more teams in. Well, what else? But well, you know what? We could start creating pods. Because at the time we had 12, we had a team in Tampa who had to fly to Yakima, Washington to play.
Yep.
We're talking about travel costs.
Yes.
Jeez.
They had to fly
Crazy.
to Kansas City. They had to fly to Vegas. They had to fly to San Diego. I mean, it's $120,000 just in travel expenses back then. But in the interim, we go from 12 to 29. And all of a sudden, we generate the revenue we need to survive, and we started creating pods. And the pods brought the travel costs down and made this a better business model.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with NIL. I don't know what it will look like. I don't know what will happen, but we will adjust as the opportunity comes in. We believe if we pray and we seek the right way, we'll have the wisdom to do it the right way. Mm-hmm. And at the end, it's only good if the players get benefited, the team market owners get benefited, the fans benefit from it, and we do as a league. We have to keep looking for ways that everybody wins, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it starts with having conversations like these ones here,
Mm-hmm.
where we're just trying to strategize and think of ways that we can take advantage of this. Because you're right, something's going to happen, and we don't see it yet, but there's going to be some change.
Definitely.
And I think it's going to be some team market owner. Again, if I had a kid that was 16 years old, and I use Toylan Fitzpatrick just because that's a name that sticks with me, and he was a really good 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 7th grade. He was really, really mature for his age. If I had that kid and he's training with him at their facility, and then they're getting on the court with you, and they've got the study place, and they've got the therapy piece. They're going to teach him how to eat the diet the right way. Man, I got my guy working here.
Yeah.
Now he's part of a pro basketball,
Yeah.
and I can have him play against grown men, and I'm not afraid. Cause so when I was a kid,
You can start younger than what we're.
100%. When I was a kid, and I was 14 years old, I would go to the park, and the men would take my ball because we had no money. My parents always bought the best athletic gear they could. So we always had good sneakers, we always had good basketballs, had good baseballs, had good mitts, had bats, everything you needed. We had that. And they would take my ball and play, and they wouldn't let me play because I was 14. But midway through the day, runs within and out, Big Mags, you want to come play a little bit? Sure, so I go and play. If I don't make them lose, the next day I get picked a little bit earlier. If I make them lose and they got to sit out for a while, they're not picking me again. But I'm playing against men. And at the time I'm 15, they see me coming, hold up, here comes Mags, I'm going to pick him. When I'm 16, they're going, I got Mags, I know he's going to come because he's going to be my number one pick. By the time I'm 17, I can't play with those men anymore because I'm better than they are. I got to go play at Notre Dame every day against those college players. By the time I'm 18, everybody on the park's going talking about, Mags used to play here. Who made me a player? Did I make me a player, or did those men make me a player from 14, 15, 16, 17, 18? Mm-hmm. We don't have that today.
Yeah.
Kids are in their own age group. They're being developed by the same guys. They're running drills around cones ad nauseum, and they're not playing enough pickup basketball.
Yeah.
That's the skill sets we're missing. There's no consequence from losing. My son's being recruited in Valparaiso once. He's being recruited by Western Kentucky and Valpo and all these different places and Purdue and places. And there's a game at Notre Dame, and Bryce Drew says, "Come sit with me." And Bryce Drew's now the coach at
where is he now?
Out in Arizona.
Shooter.
Shooter. Hit that
big
half
time
court
shooter.
shot in
Yeah.
the tournament.
Bryce says, "Let's watch this kid play. I'm interested in getting him, but he might go bigger than us." So we go watch him. It's the 6th game for these kids in 2 days at Notre Dame. And Roy Williams is there from Kansas, and Bill Self's there, and Cal's there, and everybody's there. And I'm going, man, is this the championship game? He said, no, these teams haven't won. What? These teams are 0-5, and all these major Division I schools are here recruiting this kid. The kid ended up going to Iowa. He's a little.
And they're still
boy.
playing at the Oklahoma 5.
But they didn't care because winning wasn't important. All that was important is making certain that kid saw that they were there to support him. And you sit back and go, man, that's just so changed. If we didn't win, no one came. They didn't care. If you couldn't win, and W's meant something when we were kids. So winning is lost on participation because we play so much. I'm not against AAU. I'm not against EYOB or whatever the things are. It's a huge business.
Yep.
Being a parent, I know how much money you pay to go watch these kids play. It's a huge basketball
Big
business.
investment.
But I'm not certain if it's always serving our guys not to allow them to play against grown men, because grown men is where you get better.
Are there any other teams in Florida that you got your eye on? Any other markets? I know right now we got Tampa, we got Jacksonville, but we got Orlando is a big market. What about Miami, South Florida? There's a few different areas there, Fort Lauderdale. You have any conversations in those areas there at all with any potential TMOs? Or?
We haven't yet, because remember, most of our conversations come from people that reach out to me. But if you look at, if you start at Lake City and you go to Ocala and you go down to Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, you go to Bradenton, Sarasota, Palmetto, you go down to Venice, you go down to Fort Myers, you go down to, you go all the way down to Naples, you go down the Gulf Coast, then you swing over to the East Coast and you go back up. You realize that there's probably 16 markets in Florida that the right team market owner could do well in. This is not a demographic situation. You will be successful based on you, not your market. We have markets that do really well with very few people because there's nothing else to do but come to there, watch their pro basketball. And those fans are passionate. And the guys love playing there. All the teams in Indiana do well because they love being there.
Indiana different, though. That's the Hoosier State. That's a basketball
Indiana's
state.
a basketball state, but you know what?
Plus, there's not a whole lot going on.
They do well in Shawnee,
You're
Oklahoma.
not competing with the beach and Disney.
You're right. They do well in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Yeah. But you've got to capture the attention of the community. And that's where community activation is so important. They got to see you, feel you, touch you. We should make it a rule, and we'll talk about this at the owners' meeting January 31st. I think it should be a rule that our players on the home team can't leave the court for 20 minutes. You got to engage with your fans.
Yeah.
Don't even, I'm mad as a coach, they'll be there. You can still yell at them in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Let them go. Like I want.
You mean after the game?
After the game, you can't leave the court.
Shake hands, sign
autographs,
autographs,
kiss
take
babies,
pictures.
line dance. Let them. The best asset we have is these guys. They just got done enjoying watching the big fella play, and now they get to dance with them. How cool is that? Now their kids are taking pictures with them. Now, hey man, how you doing? I heard you had a game yesterday. We're that intrinsic in our fans' mindsets. They love us, and their kids are dunking with our jerseys, their throwback jerseys on their back, and they're yelling, "Yeah, I got this one done," because that's who their hero becomes. There's power in that celebrity. We've got to use it the right way.
What do you think are some of the biggest challenges that the league might face for the next 3 to 5 years?
I think we have to be flexible, we have to adjust, but we can't take our eye off the core vision of who we are. We have to keep in mind that we're about community first, that we're about developing these young men, that it's got to be a win for them. We can't get in love with overspending. We got to run it as a business first and foremost. We can't panic. There will be more competitors that will come out. We'll hear of other NBA guys that are going to put millions of dollars into a league that's like ours. And what's that going to do? We'll see. We can't over worry about it because, again, most of these are going to lose a lot of money because they won't run it as fiscally responsible as we are. So there's long-term success in being just smart, and so there will be adjustments to finding the right ownership groups, and that's important that we keep getting good local ownership groups. I was telling Byron today that there'll be multiple team market owners that own multiple teams. That will provide a unique challenge. What does that mean? Well, that means that maybe I own 3 teams in my area. Maybe I own 4 teams in my area. If you're good, the same marketing people can work for all of them. The same dancers, the same social media, the same podcasters. It's not that hard for you to change that photo down there to something else, and you do another. And now you got the St. Pete team, you got the Clearwater team, you got the Braden, all owned by the same person.
So let me ask you this here then. What do you say the biggest difference is, right, between the franchises that are like profitable and ran really well as opposed to the ones that aren't?
That's a great question. There's 2 reasons why our teams fail that really come down to one. A, they have too much money, or B, they have too little money. But both of them have the same outcome. They won't do the plan as we ask them to do it. So when you have too much money, you don't need to do it the way we tell you to do it. We can do it better. We'll do our team. We won't even have fans. We'll pay our fans to come because we're going to do our own TV show. Maybe we'll work.
Maybe you won't.
You lose a lot of money along the way.
Right.
We're We're going to have all of our fans come for free, and we're going to pay celebrities to come sign autographs. And that's how we'll make our money. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. So often we have teams that spend money in a way that's just, we think is frivolous, that doesn't bear out. And then we have people that are so underfunded and they only want to win basketball games. So what'll happen is they'll have a team that's 11-0 and they're going, but we only have 100 fans and they're all related to the kids that are playing.
Players.
And the reason why that works is because they found some good players, but they don't do the basics of getting them in the community, paying them enough that they want to get in the community, treating them well, having DJs, dancers, mascots, having hype people, making it a show, making it a social media presence. And so you sit back and go, there's a very simple formula that people think they know more than we do. That doesn't mean what you're doing isn't valid and isn't valuable. We need this. It's going to take our whole league, it's going to broaden that pathway to success. But if it's only podcast and no DJs, dancers, mascot, good show, great team, family fun, friendly entertainment, then you're probably going to fail. Or if it's only autographs, or it's got to be this conglomeration of how we run the business. And the ones that do it the way we ask them to do pretty well.
So you got to follow the system.
It's a very simplistic system.
You got to follow the system.
Trust the process, as they say.
As far as the players go, I guess, right? Have many players like swap teams or jump teams, like based upon salaries, like getting paid higher or lower other places, or like is it generally all around the same? Like
No, there's absolutely
it varies from team to team.
There's absolutely teams. There are teams that pay more than others.
Okay.
And there are players that go from team to team.
Do you approve? Do you have to like
get that
it
pre-approved?
seems like you have some say.
No,
obviously.
you could.
So do you
In
approve
the
or deny
season,
certain
when you're
things?
under contract, you cannot leave your team unless you are traded or cut.
Okay.
It's like any other pro contract.
So both coaches got to agree. Okay.
gotta
So
say, listen.
both organizations got to
Yeah,
agree.
and there should be a trade. I mean,
Is it a deadline for the trade?
yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that deadline?
Well, it's typically, I think it's the end of April because you've got to play 6 games. It's because you have to get 6 games in. So, but trades go on, players go up, and where they typically make more is to go to BSL.
Okay.
So they'll go to BSL, and again, then they'll do. We have a player named Charlie Marquardt, played for the Frederick Flying Cows last year, is getting paid well, with the Sudbury 5 in the BSL, and he's having a really good season. And when he's done, he's already signed to come back and play for his team, the Frederick Flying Cows, the last 2 months of the year,
Okay.
in May and June, and have a chance to in April and May, and have a chance to win a championship there too.
Where's the championship going to be at?
Do you think it's going to be Tampa?
I do think that.
Because it's hosted by the 2 teams.
Okay.
That's right.
So
that's right,
we
that's
do
right, that's
all
right.
of our championships just like the NBA. We do best 2 out of 3. The lower seed gets the first game. The higher seed gets the next 2 games. And the last couple games gets expensive because there's airplane tickets involved.
Back and forth.
Yeah, but the crowds are crazy. It really builds. I mean, the last 2 years it's been the same 2 teams in the finals, St. Louis and Potawatomi, and both of them have had great crowds at their
Yeah.
finals.
You showed me a video with 3,500 fans.
Yeah.
That was at one of the championship games?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Semifinals.
what I want to ask you. What do you think is their biggest driving force down there in Potawatomi? Because they've been great the last 2 seasons. You said the only back-to-back.
Yeah.
So
I think they've got a really good coach. They've got a guy named Mark Danoff that does a great job coaching. They've been able to keep their good players year over year.
Because they're paying them.
paying them
because
well.
they pay them
yeah.
well, but they don't pay
Casino.
them. They don't pay them crazy though. They don't pay them money that's $10,000 a month.
I heard some numbers for players getting paid, and I was like, that's no way.
They've got a really good general manager named David Qualls, and David also runs the venue. So they have access to the venue 24 hours a day. They have good housing.
That helps.
They're treated like gods down there.
Yeah.
We got a guy, Deshaun Munson, who
Yep.
is
And shut guys on there too.
yeah, but Munson is he's different.
We filmed him.
He's a different body type. He's a 6'4", 6'5"
Big body guard. but
power guard.
Yeah, he goes to the bracket a lot.
Does not have a very pretty jump shot, but you can't stop him.
Yeah.
You just can't. He'll take you in, bump you, shoot it, miss it, get his own rebound, bump you, and he's just really hard to stop. But he also can play point guard.
Yes.
The Chuck Guy got thrown out of our championship game less than 5 minutes into the game for a
Did he?
double technical. They actually lifted his arm in a going through a pick and hit a kid in the chin, and they ejected him. Munson ran the point guard the rest of the day.
They won. They still finished it off.
They still won it. Munson's that good. Munson's an East St. Louis kid. Munson grew up with a lot of gunshots in his neighborhood. Munson doesn't want to go home if he
You're
doesn't
from
have
where
to.
Jason Tatum from and Bradley Beal. From the same
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
place.
exactly where they're from. And Munson would prefer to live year-round in Shawnee, Oklahoma. So he is now a manager, I believe, at Dick's Sporting Goods. He coaches one of the junior high school basketball
that's
teams.
good, that's good.
And he's found a home. His girl lives there with him, with his children. And he's just found a home. So, when you treat the guys the right way, Deshaun would rather be there than anywhere in the world unless he's making a lot more money. He ain't leaving for just a little bit more money. You're not going to get him that way.
Him, I actually watched him play last year in the Bears Showdown. I watched him literally, no jump shot, walk the guy down 8 times. I'm talking about walked him down under the basket for a layup.
He's just so strong.
Just 4 straight times.
Strong.
Walked him down was crazy.
And they've got, Chuck Guys, they've had
Yeah.
both are former playoff MVPs as well as MVPs of the league. So you've got talent like that. They're really good, and it's just a fun place to be because it's a fun atmosphere, and their fans appreciate them. It's just all that works together.
It's in the arena too. It's beautiful down there.
It's a beautiful arena.
So that answers your question right there.
Yeah.
Front office, coaching, venue,
Entertainment.
all that
too.
entertainment, all that stuff
Entertainment.
matters. And
Entertainment.
we definitely got the infrastructure to have the same thing.
Yeah.
You do. And you've got an untapped market for pro sports, for pro basketball.
Yeah.
So it's
We're not competing with nobody.
no, and we're in a season when even if USF was great, we're not competing with them because their season's over.
Right.
We're not competing with anybody for basketball right now.
Yeah, but we were talking about this on another podcast. Do you guys remember how the city rallied around USF last year? Mm-hmm. USF had a winning program.
We
one
won
of the top
25 games last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the city, I'm talking about like the buzz in the city was just the talk of the town. Mm-hmm. Right?
Unfortunate the coach passed.
Yeah, he did.
Coach
Yeah.
Amir.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Unfortunate.
And I think he's
young.
40 something.
He's young. Yeah.
what's his name's brother?
Yeah, that's Sharif Abdul
Yeah,
Rahim,
Sharif,
brother.
I just heard that.
I did not know that. I didn't know his
That's
brother.
Sharif brother.
Yeah, Sharif
didn't know
Abdul
that.
Rahim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that.
Sharif is high up in the NBA PA too.
Well, he's the G League commissioner.
Yeah, and then I think he the vice president of the PA.
And everything that I hear is like our commissioner, Carnell Wiley, is good friends with Sharif. And again, they talk once in a while, and we're aware of what the G League would like us to look like in the NBA. And we always want to compliment that. We don't want to go against them.
Mm-hmm.
If they say, will you take our guys, we would love to. If they want referees to get reps in our league.
So that's good. We have those type of relationships with them.
We do. We're not dialed in where it's a formal email to email, but our people know people that know people, and they say, hey, they'd like to see this. So we make certain we always compliment what they like.
That'd be interesting. Eventually, you got somebody on the TBL on one of their boards.
Yeah,
I mean, you played in the NBA now,
yeah.
so it's not like. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Played is a loose term, but I did more sitting than playing. When your snaps rush shut from never getting to pull your warm-ups off, that ain't a very good career.
Yeah, but you was on a roster, so
Right,
that's,
exactly.
that's
You
big
brought it-
time.
you
I had a cup of coffee, as they
Part of
say.
the
part of the
5,000
club.
though.
You
It was
part
like
of the club.
5,000 never to play in the NBA, so
Yeah, you
I'm
part
sorry,
of
less
the
than
club,
5,000,
yeah.
ain't it?
Yeah.
Playing the same teams over and over again in a small division makes it hard to build a fan base and doesn't look great for the league's reputation. You agree or disagree with that?
Well, I think it's kind of specific to your market because there's only 4 teams in your division, and I understand that, and I think we probably have to tweak it some, but we don't want to lose sight on the finance part.
Yeah.
And when airplane tickets come into play, or you have to do things, then we got to limit it. But there's a little bit of an improvement we can make on what we initially gave you, and I think you'll see something over the weekend by Monday, Tuesday that'll make it a little bit better. We got some creative ideas and some things I'll be talking to Byron about that can help it even get a little bit bigger sooner than later.
Yeah, we planning on we definitely gonna get the support of the city. Like our business model definitely is raising money and being able to finance the team, fund the team. So long as we take care of that issue and communicate with you, then we would be able to, if we want to go to Oregon and play, we could play. If we want to go to Oklahoma and play,
it's all getting the schedule out. It's
Right.
all, we
Schedule is supposed to be done today.
Yeah.
She was saying.
yeah, but she asked me today, could we do it? And based on our conversation, I'm like, no, we don't. We're not going to do it till Monday because you and I need to talk some more, and
Okay.
I need to come up with it. We want to listen to what our team market owners say, so we want to understand your feelings, and these people work for us, and we're going to make certain that we create what's good for you all, and it'll be good.
I guess I can talk on the next point too. You put on here, B.
You can ask it in your words though.
Okay.
Yeah, however you want to ask it.
Yeah, I mean, you put this together the right
Okay.
way, though. Keeping the top players in the U.S. Many great players leave for Europe if they don't make it to the NBA. Have you thought about ways to keep these players in the TBL by offering competitive play?
Honestly, it's tough because you get to the point where if we pay more, do we then run through team market owners that would stay if it was profitable? So it's like being a showcase league is not a knock on the kid. It's not a knock on our brand. It's not a knock on our team market owners. It's just a reality. You could be a kid like Munson and make a good living and be happy because you've got a home. That's where you want to live. He can make more money someplace else. That's where he wants to be. Or you could be a guy that wants to get out of here, and Eugene German is making $800,000 a year in China, and AJ Gaines is making a few $100,000 a year in Japan, and Xavier Moon is playing someplace. I mean, they're all making a lot of money, and they recognize they come through TBL to get there.
Yeah.
So that's what if we start paying guys more and more, then it's hard for us to get to
Market
profitability.
showcase league.
And now it's changing into a profit league.
Right.
And if we don't have the money to make it, in the NBL Canada, when I ran that league, you had to have $5 million in net worth and $2 million of liquid assets that you would be willing to spend on the team.
Oof, that's big time.
And with that, we went through about 15 owners in 11 years in different teams. So they had the money, but at some point, even people with money don't want to keep losing it.
Right.
So if you can't build a model that's profitable, it will not be sustained.
Yeah.
So when a guy goes, well, God, I wish I could make more money in North America. Great. Go to BSL for 6 months, come back the last 2-3 months playing TBL, make 8 months worth of pay. If it leverages out to be $3-4 grand a month, you and I know, eight months,
for
$24,000 to $32,000 playing pro basketball. That ain't too bad, especially when the money you make in Canada is tax free. Right, not a bad deal.
Not to mention the other things that we offering that we talk about, like taking advantage of what we got with media.
Yeah,
we're going to
help
cover
you build your brand.
Yeah, helping you build your brand, and then development too with what we offering with the facility that I got.
We've got a guy named Brandon Bellotti. He won our dunk contest in BSL by jumping over me. He hit me with unmentionables when he did it. He hit me with something that wasn't, I don't think it was his leg, but he hit me with something. When he jumped over me, and it kind of gave me a little crick in my neck.
Hey, yo.
But he's got
Some point now.
he's got like 2 million followers on TikTok. And he uses his brand. He's got a commercial with Sharif O'Neal. Is that his name?
Yeah, that's his name.
On Axe spray deodorant.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
They
yeah.
were on that came out the All-Star game. Because, these influencers get stuff. So if we can help you become a better influencer, I see our sponsorships in the future paying our players as well.
Yeah.
So the sponsorship will say,
That's something we can talk about.
Here's $1 million for the league, but your top 10 influencers each get $100,000 off the sponsorships if they post stuff over and over and over.
Raising the pay or raising the salary, right, for players, right, it kind of like it would majorly slow down the growth of the league basically because it would require more capital, more assets from the people. Okay, I got you. So that makes sense.
And again, do we keep the quality owners interested if they keep losing money?
No, you
So
do
at some
not.
point, we're going to lose good ownership that if they were break even or making money, would be going, I'll let this ride. I love what I'm doing.
Right. So
I like what you just said, though. Sponsorships,
Yep.
Yeah.
and getting support for, and then turning that into how we can, cover some of our expenses with payroll, front office, and the players.
That makes sense though.
Yeah.
Go to the BSL.
but it all comes back to the same thing: generating revenue.
Right.
Right. And if the team market owners aren't in a position to continue to fund the league. We got to find a way from the ownership level, the TBL the league level, to help these market owners continue to keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. The more we can make it profitable, the more the team market owners stay and invest. And I always say, what I loved about you, Byron, when I first walked in, you had the logo of your team on the desk and up there. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, this looks great. And you go, let's get TBL's logo up there. We have to cross-brand ourselves. If every team also brands TBL, the league becomes bigger.
Right.
And quite frankly, we have to be the biggest influence in this pyramid of basketball. It's got to be, the business has to be TBL's first, the team, then the players. That doesn't mean they're not important, but a great player on a bad team in a weak league, how's he being served?
Yeah.
But a great player on a great team in a really good league is worth something. Right. So if you want to serve those players, build the league, build your team, and build them. But don't lose sight on the fact that we've got to build each other's brand the whole way. And you do a good job of that because you don't have a problem cross-branding with TBL. And a lot of people don't understand that. We fight that, but we want you to put TBL TV on every logo or TBL or something so that we're building the branding that way.
Let's move on to outside investors. I know we spoke a little bit about this one as well, but have you guys considered bringing in some outside investors to kind of help the TBL expand?
Yeah, we're literally right now doing that. I mean, I got an email today from someone. We're looking at a new business plan with a guy that ran a pro league in Europe that used to be in the NBA front office that has some great insight. We think we've done as good a job as you possibly can on a $20 investment and inspiration from God and being faithful.
We've spoke about that.
And it's been amazing. Yeah. But what happens if we get some real funding? Again, we build a model that can be run on a $150,000 to $200,000 annual budget. If we have a few $1 million, most teams fail for 20 to 50K. They're not failing because they're losing that amount, 150, 200. They're losing. They're short 20 grand or short 50 grand. Imagine if the league is funded strong enough that you can never fail.
Right.
Well, now I'm part of something big. How does that work for the league? Maybe the league takes ownership of some teams or helps with some teams. Maybe the league just invests with the payback, with the return.
Yep.
But all of those things allow us to get even better because the stronger the brand is, if our top is good, our middle is really good, and our bottom needs to keep getting better. So we turn them out. We get new ones. Well, if it's to the point where the bottom is locked and they're all a minimum standard, the upside is really, really big.
So the investors, they would come in and just get some form of profit sharing, or would they own some of the league?
Yes, both.
They'd own a little bit something.
Yes,
okay.
yes. I work for a company called Cook & Company. Cook & Company was two brothers named Jim and Dan Cook, K-O-C-H, and their uncle Freddie Corky Cook. And they had a best friend named Merlin and Granny Annie all owned this business one time. And at one point, they owned 100% of that business. Today, they all own about 8 to 10% of that business. But they're all multimillionaires because they got the proper investment, they got the right people supporting them, they sold off the right shares. So I know that owning 100% of a business isn't necessary, or that even 51% is that important. If you find the right business partners that can help you that can help you find the funding, whether it's venture capital money or whether it's just private investors that want to own something, I'm open to it.
How much are you trying to get?
Raise?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the initial ask is we're trying to raise $5 to $10 million in the next year.
Do you have the financials to support that?
No, we have the financials to support it long term.
Projections.
Okay. Projections, we absolutely do.
Right, because you're gonna need, you're gonna need to show some financials.
100%. No, we'll show all our financials. We're transparent.
Because you've been doing it for 7 years, so you got to have some form of.
We could show the growth. We could show the.
Yeah.
Again, where we're really valuable is if you could take everything that's owed to us. If I could, I'm
accounts receivables is worth something. Accounts receivables is worth something.
You know what else too that's important is what you talked about with this being a stepping stone lead to get you somewhere else. So I think we can go after money we don't have to pay back to. I think we can go after grant money because of what we're doing in the community and offering jobs and giving people.
Well, and I think that every team and eventually the league as well, we all should have a nonprofit arm.
Right.
Because again, there are things we do that are pure nonprofit.
Yep.
Oh, let me point something out real quick. You remember that facility we went to today?
Yeah.
That's
All
nonprofit.
nonprofit.
That's all
Nonprofit.
nonprofit.
Everything they do
They
out of
didn't
there
pay
is
a penny.
nonprofit.
John, them guys didn't pay a penny for that.
Yeah.
That was all given to them through
Yeah.
support from
No, I'm
from
very
nonprofit.
familiar with how all that works. But our receivables are strong. Our ability to collect has not been good, which is part of the reason why the funding would come in. Because then if you take the money that's owed to us and say we're going to convert that into ownership into the team, and give you a chance to be, we recommend people that struggle to honor their commitments to get partners so that they can pay up and they can be a part of their vision. But if not, then maybe we'll be their partner. And maybe and all of a sudden we'll grow our asset base. So you go, okay, you raise 5 to 10 million, but if these teams are all worth $1 million and we own 15 of them, all of a sudden we have 15 million of assets really, really quick. I mean, that's a conversion that can take place in 6 months. So it isn't long-term play to get this to a thing. Things that are coming. We haven't figured out fully yet how the online gaming piece is going to work. We do it in BSL. In BSL right now,
You mean the online gaming?
we get
Gambling?
paid. Yes,
What?
we get
Gambling?
paid. We get paid
Yeah.
a number, $1,000, just rough number, for every game that gets played in BSL. Well, when we're at 88 teams, 24 in BSL and 64 in TBL, that's 1,400 games a year. That's 1.4 million in new net revenue that the league would get.
For
Just
what? For what though? What is
For our data,
Just data.
just for the data. And then they turn around, they sell them to MGM bets, and they sell it to the people to bet on the games.
Oh.
We don't participate except for the fact that we provide the data. We provide access to the data, provide access to the live stream. All that stuff there's values in this business that I didn't even know existed.
You can bet on
8 years ago.
the BSL games,
Yes,
but not the TBL.
not yet. And the only reason why we don't do it in TBL is because it's not legal in all the states.
Right.
All right.
It's legal in all the provinces of Canada. It's not legal in all the states in Canada, in the U.S.
Are they
yet.
making money off that?
I'm sure they are.
Are we making money?
No, they.
BSL?
They must
Yeah.
be if they're paying you
100%.
advertising.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
probably crazy. I feel like the TBL, right? These guys can still be probably touched at a local level, so that would be kind of crazy there.
I think though.
guys
Again,
will probably do
I think.
Corruption there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
but,
miss.
but,
Go
I mean,
ahead.
You gotta miss
Yeah.
this for us real quick.
Yeah,
but but you can bet on NBA games. You can bet on G League games. You can
Yeah,
bet
these
on,
guys are getting paid millions though. These guys are
Yeah,
getting
but
paid.
that's not. It's
But that stuff's happening in every league,
Yeah,
every
yeah,
level.
yeah, that's
It's
true.
happening any level.
That's true,
You
that's
ain't
true.
gonna stop it.
Yeah, that's true.
I wanted to say this before I gotta leave here soon. I appreciate you coming down. We tried to show you a lot of the things that we got going on that we want to pour into this team. With Byron doing what he did and spending his hard-earned money on this organization, bringing me in, I took the job because he's been supporting me for years with everything I do, and got a lot of quality people like Dom around him and his media team. But I just want the opportunity to run this team the right way and show you that we're going to be a great asset to the league, and then try to pour some of those things into how we run the entire league. So I hope we get the opportunity to do that eventually, and bringing the All-Star game here or running a combine here eventually. I think that's some ways that we'll be able to show you early on that we're gonna run this organization a different way, and having great players, and running it on a professional level, setting a different standard, and having a culture that's gonna be something that you can be proud of. So
Well, I'm excited, and I've enjoyed getting to know you. I mean, you got a great wealth of background of basketball, as well as you understand the business piece of everything, and it's a great addition. I mean, your whole staff, the people that are running around clicking cameras, that are behind the scenes, and the people that are in front of the cameras are all sharp young men, and you could tell that you guys have something special here, and I'm excited for it. What an incredible day! Spending time, excited. And you're just one of 34 teams in TBL that will be meeting January 31st in Indianapolis for our annual owners meeting. And then the 1st and 2nd, we'll have our draft combine. 70 plus young men will get drafted with a chance to come to training camp and make teams. It is the biggest opportunity that you'll ever find in pro basketball in North America, because these are real jobs that we're offering. So thank you for supporting it. And the guys that get drafted by Tampa are going to be pretty fortunate because they come to a great program.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you for coming out.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.